beat Klitschko at the end of his career. He dodged the rematch. He's been knocked down. You'll instantly question his whole history if he loses to, a potential B grader. If he loses to Usyk, well, everyone does. He can cop that, and then he can start to spin the whole, weight classes work both ways. It's unfair to put a small, agile guy against me. He can start to spin that. So to me, with Fury, it's about his opponent is more who can he afford to lose to, and it can't be Whyte.
Wow. Shout out to Love Boxing TV. Okay. And this was a podcast. Okay. And they were asking one of these guys, I don't know his name. I think it's John Leff Kaya Wright. But he broke down some pretty interesting comments and, about Tyson Fury. Recently, we know Tyson Fury has called out Usyk, like, hey, I want Usyk. And it's like, okay, and then the fight that people or the fight that should happen is the Whyte fight. And like this gentleman said, like, well, maybe he doesn't want to fight Whyte because he's a potential B-grade fighter at this point. And if that's the case, if he loses to Whyte, there's no way out of that, because that would put him in a certain situation he doesn't want to be in. And it's all about who you can afford to lose by. I do 100% believe that. And not only Tyson Fury, because it's just not a target to Tyson, but, if the shoe fits in Tyson's situation, let it fit. Why? Because Tyson Fury, along with a lot of other fighters, they don't want to fight certain fighters because certain fighters they can't afford to be beat by. Think about it. You got the lightweight division. You got all that damn talent down there. You got Garcia, you got Lopez, you got Davis, you got Lomachenko still there, and you got Haney. None of those guys have fought each other because I think at some point, except for Tio in Lomachenko, but at some point though, I think they look at those fights like that as a fight that they don't want, and they don't want to lose by that guy. Why do you think none of those guys have fought Lomachenko? None of them. Because if one of those guys gets beat by Loma, then that's a guy they can't afford to be beaten by because then that automatically puts them behind those other three. Okay? So if one, like let's say Devin Haney fights Lomachenko and loses, he gets beat by Lomachenko, well then Devin knows he's out. It's so fragile up there because these guys have not been tested. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think Tio doesn't really, when he thinks about Lomachenko, he might be bitter still or whatever. That's cool. But, another mind or another thought might come into play. Like, what if I lose with a motherfucker? I will be back where I was before I beat Loma. That's a fight you can't afford to lose. Well, on Tyson Fury's situation, he can't afford to lose by Whyte. And it makes sense. Now, I'm not sure about the agile thing because if he gets beat by Usyk, I think it would be just as bad. Why? Because Alexander Usyk is a small guy, and he said he's going to run him over like a small guy, meaning he doesn't respect his size. But like he said, he's agile. That's the word that describes Alexander Usyk if I was looking for a particular word that a lot of times I can't find. That's that word for Alexander Usyk, and then, of course, Usyk is undefeated. So I can understand, so at least he got beat by another undefeated special fighter versus Dillian Whyte that's been knocked out by Povetkin and knocked out by Anthony Joshua in the damn near the same fashion. One in the 9th and one in the 5th, right? And then you get beat by that guy. That would make BT Sports, that would make Queensberry Promotions, that would make Frank Warren, that would make Bob Arum. It will make everybody on that side of the street embarrassed. Okay, so this guy may be onto something about possible fights and possible reasons why certain fights don't happen. Because once it happens and it doesn't go that way, what the hell are we going to do? Right? All hell will break loose. All Hades. So anyway, you guys tell me what you think of this gentleman's comments about Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.